Now, stop me if you've heard this before, but Disney had an earnings call earlier this week, and Bob Iger got on the horn and had this revelatory proclamation that, you know what, I've been seeing a lot of content be put out there, but you know what? We're going to refocus. We're going to focus on quality over quantity. And he says that with a straight face, knowing that in 2025, he's going to be putting out 4 Marvel movies. But guys, he's going to be scaling back because a lot of those were legacy green lights, okay? From his first tenure as CEO. He's a con artist, and it's now finally starting to catch up to him because oopsie daisy. Remember the last time that there was a big touting that, oh my god, see, Bob Iger is back. He fought that proxy war against Nelson Peltz. He won, and stockholders, shareholders, they have all the faith in the world with Bob Iger. How do you explain that massive stock drop? The one thing that I'm more concerned about is how do you explain that one anomaly right there? That's kind of crazy. But look, man, everything was riding high until Bob Iger got on the horn and said, yeah, things kind of suck. Hey, Disney Plus has finally turned a profit. $47 million? I think $47 million this quarter. But we're definitely going to be dropping off in the next quarter. And then by the end of the year, trust me, guys, it's going to be turning a profit. It's not going to turn a profit because guess what? Disney's folding in with Hulu that they spent how many $billion to acquire, and then signing up with merging with Warner Brothers HBO Max, try to rival Netflix. It's nice to see that the streaming wars are officially over and that we're going to be going back to a manageable number of streaming services. But for Disney to go ahead and try to tout any kind of success off of this, it's like everybody's just going to be signing up for Max because they're going to be putting out stuff that people want to see in about a month's time with House of the Dragon Season 2. Please don't suck. I don't think it will, and if it does, you're going to see a lot of rage out of me. But Disney is also putting out a very high-profile show in June, at the beginning of June, that's going to run counter to Max's big June output, and that would be Star Wars Acolyte. What are you more excited for? No, let's take a look at some of the things that Bob was talking about. And I know a lot of people have made content over this earnings call. Oh, is Snow White being canceled because Bob Iger didn't bring it up at all? He also didn't bring up Star Wars. Does that mean Star Wars has been canceled? It's like, no, it was mostly focused on sports because you know what's really popping right now, and you know the only thing that can actually draw ratings on television? Yeah, it's kind of live sports. And you know what? 2 of the 4 major Western professional sports leagues, they're deep in playoffs. Okay, so yeah, I wouldn't eat out the success of the NBA playoffs, knowing that ESPN likely has conference and the finals on ESPN and on ABC on Disney platforms. I think ESPN even has some NHL games. So yeah, why wouldn't they lead with their strongest foot, knowing that everything else that they have under their umbrella has been a dismal failure for the better part of 2 years? Disney plans to release fewer movies and focus on quality in its key franchises. Really, the Hollywood giant is cutting back on productions in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He said this. How many consecutive earnings calls? Come on, I've been working hard with the studio to reduce the output. Oh, great, that's exactly what we need. A 71-year-old meddling weatherman coming in and making decisions, creative decisions. Okay, this is the same dink. Also blame the failure of the Marvels on a lack of studio interference, right? Nothing was going to save that disaster. But yes, he wanted to reduce output and focus more on quality. He wants to only see 2 streaming shows per year and 3 movies. That was the ultimate conclusion that he came to. And then also dropping the spicy term of IP mining, which is exactly what we're doing. And he said that there's no company better at IP mining, where you could hear some marketing executives in the background collectively facepalm on that one, going, why did you say that? Because that's going to give them ammunition, okay? Because that's exactly what Disney's doing, right? IP mining, not creating anything new, not IP building. They're just simply going under the foundations, chipping away, trying to find any gold, any sediments that are left that they can go ahead and pawn off before everything comes crumbling down. They're just trying to strip mine the once fertile land in order to rape it of any remaining resources. It's so perfect. It's so perfect of a term that, you know, he's been unironically saying it behind the scenes for years, and he slipped up this time on the earnings call. Shares from Disney fell sharply on Tuesday, dropping 10% during the morning trading in New York after Disney Plus failed to add as many subscribers as analysts had expected. But it turned a profit this time, guys. A series of Disney's recent big budget movies, including The Marvels, Indiana Jones, The Dial of Destiny. Remember Indiana Jones came out last year? Yeah, nobody does. Wish, The Haunted Mansion, Elemental, Little Mermaid, Ant-Man and the Wasp, and Quantumania. Oh, but hey, Guardians of the Galaxy Part 3 turned a profit, and Deadpool and Wolverine, people are really talking about it on social media, guys. But you still got to you released Echo earlier this year, and you still got to do something with Agatha, whatever it's called this week. But Iger, the veteran executive, summoned out of retirement. No, he put himself on pause just so he could weather the Koof storm, only to come back in thinking that he'd be riding on a white steed, but in actuality it was a painted donkey. Insisted on Tuesday, yes, that he felt great about a slate of upcoming releases, which, yeah, it's that, which might be good. Hopefully it is for the people that are out there, but in actuality, he's got to wrestle with the fact that nothing is good on the horizon. Disney CEO Bob Iger reveals company now dedicating itself to sequels over original productions. Continue on IP mining, guys. As a creative future of Western entertainment industry wasn't already looking dire enough to begin with, Disney CEO Bob Iger announced that in an ostensible attempt to net the company a win in a string of back-to-back losses, the foreseeable future will see the House of Mouse turning away from original works in favor of producing easily marketable sequels, which, yeah, Pixar's next outing, which has also seen back-to-back bombs, is coming out with Inside Out 2. Who's actually excited? Who's looking forward to that? Nobody, man. This is the problem, because we recently talked about the gaming industry now just trying to focus on our high input or our high impact titles. Hearing Microsoft talk about that while they're gutting their other studios in order to just bolster Call of Duty. We're not getting anything original out of the West. We knew this day would come. We're just hoping that the downfall is going to be quicker so somebody can go ahead and pick up the collective ashes. Iger provided this insight to Disney's forward-facing cinematic strategy while speaking to investors amid the company's Quarter 2 2024 earnings call held on May the 7th. His attention then proceeded to be diverted thanks to a smattering of unrelated questions from the call's attendees. Yeah, it was generally uneventful. Like I said, mostly about ESPN and the fact that, live sports is really the future, guys. As you noted, your upcoming slate, a number of sequels, is a strategy where you've had a lot of success in the past, but then you remember, all right, Mufasa's coming out at the end of the year. Oof. But as you look over the medium term, how do you think about the balance of leaning on established franchises versus the investment in new IPs? In turn, the embattled Disney boss asserted, we're going to balance sequels with originals, particularly in animation. Remember, guys, Disney used to be an animation company. We had gone through a period where original films and animation, both Pixar and Disney, were dominating. Yes, that was a long time ago. Now we're swinging a bit back to lean on sequels. So we've talked, about Toy Story 5, why, and obviously Inside Out 2 this summer, which is a great film. It's a great film. Don't worry about it. It's going to be great, guys. I just think right now, given the competition, the overall movie marketplace, there's no competition. Like, it's all ass, bro. Like, now would be the great time to just have a hit movie. There's been one this year. Dune 2 has fell within expectations. Fantastic. That's better than you can say just about everything that you guys put out last year. But in terms of Marvel specifically, it implies there too, we're actually have both Thunderbolts, for instance, coming out in 2025 as an original. It's all characters from previous show. You're a liar, dude. You're a Weasley little liar, dude. And then, of course, as mentioned, Deadpool this summer. But yes, what about the originality of Falcon being repurposed as Captain America? Kick off 2025. What about everything else on your 2025 slot? Fantastic Four going through its third cinematic reinterpretation in under 20 years. And then what? You're going to have Spider-Man 4 or a Blade reboot. A lot of originality there. But for him to have the audacity to say that the Thunderbolts is unique, is original, you're a liar. You're out of your mind. It'll just be a balance. Igerly ultimately continued, which we think is right. Yes, of course. Notably, Iger claimed that Disney Disney has begun to merely turn to a leaning on sequels is simply put a massive, massive understatement. Yeah, was Coco? Well, yeah, okay, I guess Elemental would have been a new IP. But from Disney proper, because Elemental was Pixar. What was the last brand new IP? It wasn't attached to Star Wars. It wasn't attached to Marvel. It didn't have decades of source material that they just adapted for the screen. What was the newest thing that Disney has actually put out? Could it be Moana? 2016? Could it? It might actually be that far back. So yeah, for Bob Iger to have the audacity to say, now we're just going to have to lean on sequels. Also for him having to admit that, yeah, our new stuff doesn't work. We're desperate. Please, stockholders, give me a chance. Yeah, meanwhile, two of them, live action Snow White, very much coming out. And live action and sequel Moana. Sequel Moana comes out at the end of the year. And yeah, live action Moana is also in the works. Crazy. As for the last two, Fantastic Four and Blade, should be noted that they exist in sort of a gray area. Yeah, exactly. No, it's not, because Fantastic Four has been tried multiple times over. One was a spectacular failure, and another one was, it's an anachronism from the early superhero days of the early 2000s. And Blade, Wesley Snipes is right there, and the first two were fantastic, and I got a soft spot for the third. It's not as bad as people claim, but it's no cinematic masterpiece. Let's just, say that. But Disney, well, we've kind of known that they're creatively bankrupt and have been for years, but now they could be financially, because this is the last attempt of a dying company. And you take a look at that stock, and well, the fact that it dropped 10 points after they were trying to tout that 5-point rebound after, all of the shareholders had all of this faith in Bob Iger. It's going to be fun to see how the rest of this year rides out for the House of Mouse, because the House of Mouse, it's got an infestation problem. You know what that infestation is? The woke mind virus. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.